We hear the reason for the Mexicans defeating the war from the Mexicans themselves at the end of the video. The Mexican-American War was an armed conflict between the United States and Mexico from 1846 to 1848, following the annexation of Texas by US in 1845. The Mexican government didn't recognize the Treaty of Guadalupe, which had been signed by General Antonio Lopez while he was a prisoner of the Texan Army during the Texas Revolution in 1846. Though Texas functioned as an independent nation de facto, most of its citizens wanted to join the United States. However, US politicians opposed the annexation of Texas because they saw it as a slave state, which would disrupt the balance of power between the free states in the north and the slave states in the south. In the 1844 presidential election, Democrat James Polk was elected with the idea of expanding American territory to include Oregon and Texas. Polk was determined to expand the country's territory, whether through peaceful means or armed conflict, and he achieved this goal peacefully with the annexation of Texas in 1845. This move was provocative for Mexico, but Polk preemptively sent US troops to the area. He also sent a diplomatic delegation to Mexico, attempting to negotiate the purchase of the territory. The presence of American soldiers was intended to provoke Mexico into starting a conflict, allowing Polk to place the blame on Mexico and then argue for a declaration of war in Congress. Mexican forces attacked the American troops, and the US Congress declared war. Beyond the disputed Texas area, US forces quickly occupied the capital of the Santa Fe de New Mexico region, located above the Rio Grande, which had trade relations with the US via the Santa Fe Trail between Missouri and New Mexico. American forces also advanced toward the Alta California province and moved south from there. The US Navy's Pacific Squadron blockaded the Pacific coast south of the Baja California territory. At this point, the Mexican government refused to sign a peace treaty under pressure, prompting the US to launch an invasion of mainland Mexico. Under Major General Winfield Scott, US forces captured Mexico City, aiming to force Mexico into peace negotiations. Although Mexico was defeated on the battlefield, negotiating a treaty remained a politically contentious issue, with some factions refusing to consider recognizing any territorial losses. Despite President Polk officially recalling his peace envoy, Nicholas Trist, from his role as negotiator, Trist ignored the order and successfully negotiated the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo in 1848. The war ended with Mexico recognizing the cession of territories that were not part of the disputed Texas area, but had been captured by the US Army. This included the northern regions of Alta California and Santa Fe de New Mexico. The United States agreed to pay $15 million for war damages and assumed $3.25 million in debts owed by the Mexican government to American citizens. Mexico accepted the loss of Texas and recognized the Rio Grande as its northern border with the United States. Polk believed that victory in territorial expansion would boost patriotism in some parts of the United States. However, the war and the treaties sparked fierce criticism over the casualties, financial costs, and mishandlings. Particularly early on, questions about how to deal with the newly acquired territories ignited the debates over slavery in the United States. Although the Wilmette Proviso, which explicitly prohibited the expansion of slavery into the newly acquired Mexican territories, did not pass in Congress, the debates over it heightened original tensions. Many historians consider the Mexican-American War a precursor to the American Civil War, as many officers trained at West Point played prominent roles in leading with cede. Names of this war. The war is called Mexican War or Mexican-American War in America. In Mexico, it has been called U.S. War against Mexico, North American intervention in Mexico, or U.S. occupation of Mexico, and War of 47. In 1823, Mexico became independent from Spain, and immediately after this event, the migration of Americans to the uninhabited areas of Texas began. Over the course of 12 years, the American population grew in Texas and gradually took over the levers of economic power. In 1830, Americans made up the largest population in Texas, with the ratio of Americans to Mexicans began 6-1. In 1835, the Republic of Texas declared independence with the help of Americans who were dissatisfied with the policies of the Mexican central government. The people of Texas were very unhappy with the fact that convicted felons were being recruited as soldiers of the Mexican army in Texas. Also, the policies of the Mexican central government, such as forcing Catholicism in Texas, caused public dissatisfaction. But the independence of Texas did not last for more than 10 years, and on July 4, 1845, the Texas Parliament approved its annexation to the United States, and with the approval of the United States Congress, on May 13, 1846, this country declared war on Mexico. Thus, the war between America and Mexico began on that date and ended in February 1848. American forces captured Mexico City on September 17, 1847, and a few months later, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo was signed between the two countries. According to the treaty, Mexico lost half of its dirt. This land includes all over Texas, all California, all Nevada and Utah, and part of New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, and Wyoming. Instead, the United States also considered $18 million credit for the Mexican government and $3 million in their debt. Mexico, however, has previously rejected the U.S. $30 million offer with $4.5 million. Mexico's debt $5 million due to damage to United States during the independence of Mexico from Spain to buy disputed lands.